Hi, and welcome to another edition of Facebook Focus. I'm Anya Mueller, and this week we're joined with Sports Director Justin Wickersham. Now, Justin, you did a story this week about the Black Hills Youth Football League.
Yes.
And what do you think of this league?
Well, you know, the league was started 5 years ago, and I like the concept, I like the idea, and you can tell that the community has really embraced it. The league has just tripled in size over the last 5 years, so, you know, I think it's well on its way. At some point, it's going to flatten off a little bit, you know, the numbers, but, you know, I think it's really good for the community.
Okay, now what about Sean? Is he a volunteer director?
Sean started a league years ago in Florida when he used to live down there, and when he moved to Rapid City, because he's originally from South Dakota, he thought, you know, there wasn't really a league where he has twins that were, I think, around 7 years old at the time, and he didn't really feel like there was a league where you could play on 100-yard fields, you could tackle, you had concessions, you had an announcer, you had officials and everything, so that's why he kind of started the Black Hills Youth Football League.
So he just has a real passion for football.
He does. I believe he played college football or high school football, and so, you know, he really loves the sport of football, and this way he's, you know, allowing kids to play it at a very young age.
And what age do they start?
You know, they have 4 different groups, I believe. They start first grade, and they go all the way up to 8. So it's like first and second are combined, and then every 2 grades are combined.
I'm just imagining these little kids down there.
You should see the first and second graders play. That is quite comical, but you know, they're starting out young, so
right.
You know, they someday maybe work up to the high school ranks.
Mm-hmm. So do you think this is helping the kids kind of transition into middle school and high school sports?
That's, you know, when I'm talking to Sean, that's what I get out of it is that's the ultimate goal, is, you know, they want to teach them, you know, at a very young age like this and teach them the right way to hit, to tackle, some of the fundamentals of football. And he hopes this someday translates into high school or for state football titles for West River teams.
Now, I know there's, you know, a big competition between East River and West River football. Now, do you think this is going to help with that competition?
Well, in the story that we ran earlier this week, Sean even mentioned that over the summer they took, or a couple months ago, they took a couple middle school teams over to Sioux Falls, and they actually came back 4-0. So he tends to think, you know, that when these kids get into high school, that they'll be very competitive against the East River team. So I guess only time will tell. Okay.
And now they also practice tackling, is that right?
Yeah, and they have this past season they adopted the Heads Up program, which is, I believe it's endorsed by the NFL, and it's just it's a way to educate the coaches and the players on the proper way to hit, the proper way to tackle, and they've even seen a reduction in the number of injuries that they've had over the past 2 seasons. So. Yeah, so it's...
You think it's helping?
I think it's helping. I think it's working.
Because I know some parents were just worried that, you know, I don't want my first grader tackled or tackling others, but it actually helps.
Yeah, you hear a lot about that in the news lately, you know, with concussions, you know, all the way up to the NFL. They're always talking about the issues, dealing with concussions and stuff. So that's one reason they adopted the Heads Up program.
Okay. Well, it sounds great. And Justin, thanks for joining us today. And we'll see you next week for Facebook Focus.